What's going on, everybody? This Afro think tank. This man cooked Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government. Not to be confused with cooking Jewish people or, the Israelis, Jewish people living in Israel. Because we got to make sure we make a distinction between the evildoers who commit suicide and those people who are guilty by association because they happen to be a part of the religion. Because most Jewish people are against the genocide that's happening in Israel, right? But this guy's gonna cook. He's gonna make so many points because, how is it that these Jewish people, right, who are white Europeans, by the way, white Ukrainian, Russian, and French and Polish Europeans by race, all right, who immigrated to the Middle East about 80 years ago and started to call themselves Semitic. These are, let's just be clear, these people we call Jewish are unequivocally white Europeans from Eastern Europe. These are white, you can't get no whiter. All right, these are as white as you can get. All right, we're talking about straight Anglo-Saxon barbarian savages who are pretending to be Jewish, just like they're pretending to be the Greeks, pretending to be South Africans, pretending to be Australians, pretending to be New Zealanders, pretending to be Hawaiians, pretending to be, in some cases, black. They really try that one. That's a hard one. They're really pretending to be, white people have a tendency to pretend to be everybody else, right, but themselves, while touting that they are, in fact, superior. Now, the Jewish people, which are the white people pretending to be Semitic Africans cosplaying in the Middle East, right, because the Middle Eastern people there are not even the original inhabitants. They're just a result of all the warmongering and trading with Africans, Asians, and Europe, but the original people there are black, and they're still there, being discriminated against the Palestinians who are currently being discriminated against by the Israelis. There's levels to this discrimination, right? But these white folks are Jewish people who play the victim. They always want to be victim. White folks be trying to find ways to be victims because they know they're the victimizers and they know they're wrong, but they enjoy the benefits of being wrong, so they keep doing it because it's a thing that satiates their short-term, satisfaction and long-term satisfaction. Is how they maintain their power. It's how they structure their governments. It's how they thrive. They're forever expansionist, parasitic culture, right? So they do this, but somehow, right, these guys became the victims permanently, even though, they were victimized. 6 million of them died, supposedly, because in the newspapers back then it was like 250,000. The number just kept getting higher and higher, right, till we got to 6 million. But if you look at any of the news archives from the back in the day, the number wasn't nowhere close to 6 million. But altogether, more people died in the war. Other people, 10 million other Europeans died over here. At the same time, they was killing 10 million Africans over here. The amount of murder that happened, the Jewish people weren't the only ones getting murdered. Everybody was getting murdered up by these other savage, barbarian Anglo-Saxons, right? So, but the Jewish people end up being able to become victims, right? Got the sob story, and the Germans end up being like the forever enemies. And they've been spending this whole time trying to change their image, right? Overcompensating by letting anybody who's brown and black in their countries, which is messing up the demographics of their country, by the way, right? And, but they're still on the side, still participating in imperialistic activities along with the rest of their European brothers and sisters. But these Jewish ones, these designated white victims, Jewish people, they're literally the worst people on the, this government is the worst outside of America. These are the worst people on the planet. Benjamin Netanyahu is one of the worst type of people. He's Hitler. Benjamin Netanyahu and Hitler are the same person. Donald Trump's just so stupid. He's just guilty by association and capitulation, right? But Benjamin Netanyahu is an actual evildoer, right? We got all the richest people in the Western world and all the heads of state are literally evil dictators who have been in power. Benjamin Netanyahu has been in charge for how long now? We saying he's not a dictator equivalent to those African dictators? How long has the Russian president been the president? You saying that's not a dictator compared to other African dictators? We always associate dictators with South America and Africa, right? But look at these white European dictators that have been in charge for how long? They keep changing elections so they can stay president or prime minister, right? But we only talk about it when the Africans do it. But the Europeans been doing it this whole time, and that's okay, right? And then you got the special Jews, which are the special white people that don't want to be white, but they are white. They're whiter than the white people, right? They're whiter than white people. Look at the aesthetics and the athletic capability of these people that call themselves Jews. They about the most that's not a stereotype. They are the most unathletic group of Europeans to ever come out of that peninsula of Asia. All right? Their body structure is just unfortunate, right? They have no physical capability whatsoever, but they can pull a trigger. And them coward, unhealthy, fat, just non-units are using the gun to compensate and killing all these brown people who are in somewhat close to their natural habitat, right? But listen, these damn IDF, they're not even these guys are not even practicing Judaism. They call themselves Jews, right? They try to pretend like it's a race, but it's really just a religion that they have created into an ethnicity, right, by word of mouth, right? And that justifies all the evil shit. Like, they are evil. And then the evil country of government of America allows this evil genocidal maniac into the country, right? And we just gallivant like this shit is okay. We got all these white, old ass, evil, fucked up demons, right? Just standing in the open doing all this shit. Yo, when history tells a story, they better not try to spin this shit like Israel did this shit by themselves. Like, they couldn't spin what the damn Nazis did. Germany can't even wipe that shit off. That shit stain is permanently on their white drawers of Germany. Right, they've been trying to bleach that goddamn shit stain of the Nazis for how long now? Now, America, right, we gotta wipe the shit stain. Shit, matter of fact, every goddamn thing we ever did is a shit stain that we don't see as something to be wiped off, but see as something to be proud of. America walks around with brown drawers that used to be white, because it's all shit, spread all over the material, right? We telling everybody that's chocolate, and the shit, all right? I'm just glad that in America, there's a distinction between African Americans and white people in America. So when we go around the world, they don't look at us as the imperialistic, sponsors of America's foreign policy. I'm glad, because this is really just all white people shit. This is cultural consistency. White people pretending to be everybody they're not because they don't like themselves, but they also at the same time are superior, but they don't like themselves, and they want to be everybody else's culture while telling them they don't have culture, and looking down on that culture while, like I said, pretending to be a whole races and ethnic groups of people, running away from their white European culture completely, right? While saying at the same time white people are dominant and wanting to be the victim and the victimizer at the same time. They want to be in charge of everything and in control of everything, but pretend like they're not in control of everything. And even when they are in control, they complain that they're not in control enough. Like a damn virus. Anyway, you guys tell me what you think in the comment sections. Afro Think Tank, learn something, teach something. I'm out.
Look, I'm gonna just keep it completely real for a second, and bro, we need to just stop walking on eggshells. I need to talk about something that makes absolutely zero goddamn sense, and I'm tired of everybody pretending they don't see it. So look, no disrespect to Jewish people at all, but I genuinely don't understand how you could have the privilege and opportunity of a white person, but act as or more oppressed than a black person. And I'm not saying this to minimize the Holocaust or say that the Holocaust was good, because genocide is bad no matter what. But the difference is, you guys got endless amounts of opportunity, reparations, wealth, and success before, during, and after that shit, okay? Other people such as indigenous and black people didn't get shit after their genocides, massacres, slavery, etc. So don't do that shit, okay? Because it's not the same. And I'm not trying to compare or minimize pain, but Middle Easterns go through way more shit than you guys do, especially since the Israeli government is and has been causing 98% of the problems in the Middle East and around the world for generations, for decades, for centuries. And I'm not making this video to be anti-Semitic or call out or cause hate speech against Jewish people. That's another thing. Every time you guys get called out for bullshit, you immediately deflect and try to use that anti-Semitic card to protect yourselves and avoid accountability. And it's crazy because Zionists in America and Israel get the benefits of white privileged people, but talk like they're black people during slavery. Who the fuck is oppressing them now? Because it's not the 1930s or 1940s anymore. Who the fuck is oppressing them? And look, I'm not calling out all Jewish people, saying all Jewish people are bad, because that's not fair and that doesn't help any of us move forward. But there is a real consistent generational and cultural issue going on here that needs to be addressed. Think about how messed up this is. We're told to look at history a certain way, but when you look at the actual facts, the math doesn't add up. Black people were kidnapped, enslaved, and had their entire identities ripped away for 400 years, and when it ended, they got told to just get over it. No checks, no land, no help. Indigenous people had their entire continent stolen and got pushed onto reservations, and the government gave them absolutely nothing. There were so many other genocides and systemic failures like Haiti, Pol Pot, but when the Holocaust happened, the whole Western world stepped in. Billions of dollars in reparations, massive global support, and the power to build serious wealth and influence. You cannot sit there with all that modern power, living with total white privilege in America, and act like you're still the underdog. It's a slap in the face to people who are actually catching hell in the streets right now. And the wildest part is the total lack of accountability. The Israeli government is literally dropping bombs, stealing land, and wiping out families in the Middle East, causing massive problems across the world, even since biblical multiple times, but the second anybody stands up and says, hey, what you're doing is completely evil, they immediately pull out the victim card. They call you anti-Semitic to shut you up so they don't have to answer for the messed up things they're doing today. You can't use what happened 80 years ago to excuse the fact that you are playing the bully right now. It's a cheap trick to avoid accountability, and people are finally waking up and calling it out. The root of the whole problem is that the people running the world have created a double standard for human pain. They decided that some trauma matters more than others because it serves their political goals. They let one group use their history as a permanent shield to do whatever the fuck they want, while black, brown, and Middle Eastern people are told to shut up and deal with the ongoing violence and poverty and systemic oppression and the amount of getting fucked over by the government that the system locks them into. The only way we fix this is by stopping the double standards completely. A body in the dirt is a body in the dirt, and a bully is a bully no matter who they are. We have to stop letting people hide behind the past to justify hurting people in the present. Everybody needs to be held to the exact same standard and get the same amount of equality and equity, and nobody gets a free pass to oppress others just because their ancestors went through a tragedy. True justice means calling out the bullshit wherever it is, flat out, period. And let's look at how the system protects this double standard, because this is where the real game is played. I'll give y'all an example. If a black person talks about the legacy of slavery, or an indigenous person talks about their stolen land, the world tells them to stop complaining, shut the fuck up, move on, and pull themselves up by their bootstraps. It happened so long ago. But the second you point your finger at the Zionist establishment or call out the Israeli government's actions, the entire system orchestrates a hit on your life. They try to take your job, cancel your contracts, cancel you, ban your social media accounts, fuck with your bank accounts, destroy your reputation overnight, shit, and other times kill or assassinate you. Why is it that calling out one specific group can cost you your entire livelihood while the systemic oppression of everybody else is just treated like casual debate? It's because it was never just about a tragedy in the 1940s. It's about protection of power. The elite built a fortress where they get to use their historical scars as a multi-billion-dollar political corporate shield, while the rest of the world is left bleeding in real time. If you have the power to silence the world, you aren't the one being oppressed. You're the one holding the microphone. You're the one controlling the textbooks and the history books. You're the one that controls the narrative. Stop fucking playing.
Every accusation is a confession. I will not elaborate.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.